Hey, it's Chris Caddo, your Chief Performance Partner and your author of Premiership Business. Now, what are the key trends in social media? Every year, Sensis Yellow Pages comes up with their annual social media report where they analyse or they survey 1,100 businesses and 800 people from the public and ask them about their social media habits and basically report on what's happening in the social media scene. Now, the links are below in regards to their reports, and I'll put a link below that you can access their report directly, but it's a 65-page document with lots of information in there, which you'll probably find really useful. But what I've done here is I've just had a look at the reports over the last 5 years from 2011 and picked out 7 key trends which will help you think about how you should use social media in your marketing, if at all, because some businesses don't use social media at all, and it's okay because it's their particular industry that might not be where they find their market and their buyers, of course. Let's have a look at what some of the key trends are in terms of people's changing habits. Now, the first one is that daily social media usage is still growing, but at a slower rate. 49% of the population who have access to the internet basically say they use social media daily. But on the flip side, the percentage of the population opting out of social media actually has grown for the first time. The percentage of people who actually say, I don't use social media at all, has grown for the first time. So that trend has stopped. This suggests that maybe social media is starting to reach a point where it's saturated. Something to consider. Potentially, social media is reaching a saturation point, reaching a point where it's at its full capacity. In terms of usage. Now, while we're on usage, the second key trend is that the peak usage, for the first time, peak usage is in the morning. And the first thing is the morning is the most popular time in 2015 for using or accessing or having a look at social media. In the past, you can see there that after work, between 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night, was the most popular time to use social media. But that has slowly tapered away. Whereas just before you go to bed has picked up, reaching a peak in 2014 before dropping off. If you're going to post stuff, think about first thing in the morning. It may be the best time for you to get penetration for your particular market segment. Next thing, is it a mature market? Alludes to a little bit. What we see here is that there are still platforms, social media platforms that are still growing. LinkedIn is still growing. LinkedIn is obviously Facebook in suits, or Facebook for the workplace. Instagram, Pinterest, and Google+, they're all still growing. But Facebook, Twitter, and newcomers Snapchat and Tumblr being challenged a little bit. Snapchat grew quickly, and so did Twitter. They grew quickly, and now people are just opting out. They're not using that as much as they used to, so they're getting challenged. Now, Facebook is obviously still the most popular by far, but the number of people on the platform is shrinking. Only slightly, though. They're not about to leave Facebook as a marketing medium anytime soon. The fourth item, what do we use social media for? Originally, it was more for catching up with the family, and it's still very popular, obviously, in terms of catching up with the family and sharing photos. But those trends are dropping a little bit, whereas getting information on news or current events is actually picking up in social media. Interesting. So using social media to be social is actually dropping a little bit, although, let's face it, catching up with family and friends is still the main reason why we use social media. This is a graph which I find really interesting, and that is that social media tends to be, when you ask the question of why people or what products and services they look at, they tend to look at products and services that you can buy from a high street retail store or the old-fashioned high street retail store. So social media tends to be the place to be if you're a retailer. So the most searchable products on social media are discretionary consumer goods, such as fashionable clothing, electrical goods, furniture, or things for the home. But the interesting part is only 41% of retailers surveyed and 45% of accommodation, cafe, restaurants actually engage in social media. So there's room there. If you're in retail and accommodation, you're in that top half who are using social media as a marketing medium, when half your competitors aren't. If you're in there, you're doing the right thing, and if you're not in there, you're missing out, because that's what people are looking for in social media. Consumer goods, discretionary consumer goods. In terms of where people are looking at their social media, mobile devices have gone through the roof. If you've got web platforms, you need to be integrated with mobile devices, or you're falling behind. Desktops looking like fax machines. Less and less people are using desktops, but that's driven by the fact that we're actually using more and more mobile devices in our workplaces. And so landing pages and websites now, if you're not mobile integrated, you don't have a mobile integrated website, you're losing out, because that's where people are viewing from. Make sure that you have mobility in terms of mobile access, that is, in terms of your website. The last trend is that people actually want less from brands and businesses they follow on social media, but they want more information and more special offers when they do engage. So they're looking for discounts, giveaways, product info, and tips and advice is typically why people engage with you in social media, your business in social media. But overall, it's dropping a little bit. They just like to be associated, but it's not their main reason for liking your page. However, if they do go to your page, give them some discounts, give them some giveaways, give them some product info, give them some advice. So what are marketers doing about this? Mobile integration, one key thing. So 77% of business-to-consumer marketing managers have mobile integration in their marketing plans. Now, this is taken from the State of Marketing, which is released by Salesforce every year. Again, the link is below. So mobile integration of all social media marketing, click-throughs to mobile devices and adapted sites and landing pages is critical. So that's one thing that marketers are focusing on. So are you doing it in your business? Are you making sure that you're mobile integrated? Customer journey is the next thing that marketers are thinking of and doing for their businesses. And if you're a SME, you're a small to medium-sized business, you've got to think about your marketing journey. So what is that? That's basically, are you following through? Do you have the software to follow your customer journey, to understand if they are clicking onto shopping carts and are they abandoning their shopping carts? Have you got the smarts in your systems to automate the responses, so that if they drop out of the shopping cart, you can you've automated the response to ask them why, or if you can help them, and that you've automated your opt-in campaigns, and you know the customer well enough that on key anniversaries you have triggers, reminders, and you're focusing on keeping the customer engaged, making sure that they're up to speed in terms of what your products and what you're offering in terms of your products and services, and that you've followed the products that they've bought, and you know what else you can actually upsell them to based on their experience and interaction with you. Loyalty location-based campaigns is the third key thing that marketers are doing. So 67% of marketers are planning location-based content and leveraging social media platforms and marketing segmented information. So we're getting more specialized, we're getting more specific about what we say and how we say it, and making sure that we're making the right noise and resonating appropriately to those market segments appropriately. And we're sending out less generic stuff. So what does that mean? That means that there's more work, but you just need to be very good at understanding your customer and making sure your copy and your images all tie in. So if you sell goods direct to consumers, that is business to consumer, do you have a virtual shop front? And what are you doing about the passing virtual traffic? Because quite frankly, that's where social media cuts through the most. If you have, in effect, a retail outlet online, you're selling goods and services which are discretionary items, which are low price, consumable items, such as homeware, such as clothing, such as electronics. If you're doing any of that, how are you leveraging social media to attract people to your page, to your buying sites, to your retail virtual shop front? So there are 7 key trends in social media. So go ahead, comment, tell me what you think, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, subscribe, and let's get ahead together. So 7 key trends in social media. Bye for now.